So my name is Christian Gilbert. I am a speech instructor. I've been teaching speech and communication since 2012 here at Leeward Community College, and I try to help students to unlock their most confident selves and share that with their audiences. And one of the things that I do somewhat frustratingly, some of my students I recognize here in the room, actually, it's been a long time. One of the frustrating things that I have some of my students do is to present without notes, just from memory. Now, I don't think that we all necessarily have to just have a gifted memory to do that or to cram for hours and hours. I try to impart a few useful skills and techniques. So to get us started here today, I thought we could jump on microphone. I'm just going to go down the list here. Actually, you can see exactly what I'm doing. If you click on the participants tab, you'll see a list of everybody by alphabetically here, from Alexa, Alexis, Omar there. I'm going to go down that list of people, and I'm going to ask you to name something. A thing that everybody would recognize. We're just going to make a big list of about 20 here. We got more than 20 people here, but just for time's sake, I think I'll stop it at 20 once we've hit 20 items here. But I'm just going to ask you to name a thing that everybody would recognize. A desk, a dragon, love, water bottles. Maybe if you're like an engineering student, don't choose something like the second law of thermodynamics, because maybe other people in the room wouldn't recognize it. But otherwise, things that we would all recognize. So the first name I see here alphabetically is Alexa Diaz. Go ahead, Alexa, you can jump on microphone. Name anything for us, please.
A Stanley Cup.
A Stanley Cup. Great start. I'm just going to put S Cup. I don't think I left enough room there for a Stanley Cup, but we know it's a Stanley Cup. Thank you there, Alexa. We got Alexis. Go ahead, Alexis. You can jump on and give us a thing.
A TV.
TV. I can spell TV. Thank you very much for the TV. I see. Is it Amore there? Amore? You can jump on there with us.
How about a book?
A book. I like it. I feel responsible already and educated with that book.
A skateboard.
Skateboard. I thought it might be a skateboard. That's a pro skateboarder, by the way, ladies and gentlemen in the room with us. Thank you very much there for the skateboard. Here we've got a list of 20 things none of us were ready for or preparing for. There's like a little raised hand feature, or if you're on camera, you can just physically raise your hand for this. I want to do a quick little survey of the room here with our own preferences and study skills. How many of you, by raise of hand, if you had to memorize this random list of 20 things, show of hands if it would take you minutes but not hours. Minutes but not hours. Show of hands if that's you. I see one. Okay, 3 of us. Oh, maybe 4 and like a half. I see one of these, like a little bouncy hand. Fair enough. Okay, a handful, not a huge amount. Fair enough. Thank you. Hands down. How many of you it would take you hours but not days? Hours but not days to memorize this list, if that's you. Okay, a few more hands there popping up. Oh, kind of scattered all about there. Thank you. Oh, I see with the applause hand. Hours but not days. Fair enough. Thank you. Hands down for that. How many of you it would take you days but not weeks? Days but not weeks. Yeah, you'd have to measure the time in days. Maybe a bit more shy hands, but they feel a bit more honest hands over here. A few of those. Fair enough. Thank you much. And how many of us haven't raised our hands at all? We just haven't chosen one. It's going to be like days or more. It's going to or weeks or more. Just not going to happen. Yeah, Julianne there. No problem. No judgment if you're raising your hands here. I completely understand. How about, tell you what, you can type in chat for this. If you know that we're here to talk about memory today, and I inflict upon my students giving speeches with no notes, how long would you give me to learn the list? Be nice. But you can type it in chat there, whatever it was that you would give me for learning the list here. It's kind of hard to tell what my setup is like here. I have the little screen set up so that you can see the list right now, but if I'm looking directly into the camera, I actually can't see the list. It was over on my right, where you kind of saw me writing down over here. I've been trying not to look over here to my right. I see 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes. Jeez, so fast, Alexis. 2 minutes. You kidding me? 1 to 2 hours, Elijah. Okay, thank you. There we go. Maybe like 1 hour for each side. 20 minutes. Okay, Rui says. Giselle says. About like a minute per item. Fair enough. 5 minutes, Layla says. What I usually like to go with whatever the quickest challenge is, which right now is 2 minutes. Yeesh. Lucy says 30 minutes. Jillian says 30. Okay, thank you. There's a bit more breathing room. Now, we do have a limited amount of time here today, so tell you what, just for the interest of time, I'll start off with nothing, and we'll see if I have to take you up on that 2-minute study time. We'll see. I've been trying not to look over to my right where I was writing down. I can look at the camera and not see anything, but just in case you can't quite tell what my setup is, just to make sure that I'm not cheating, let's try it like this. You can keep me honest. Starting off at the top of the list, item number 1 should be the Stanley Cup, followed by a TV, and then book, and then coffee, tree, phone, beach, flower, cat, fork, backpack, toilet, pool ball, baby, car, guitar, watermelon, sushi, expo pen, skateboard. Yeah? 20 things? Not too shabby? Not too shabby? Yeah? Okay, tell you what. That's kind of a fun little party trick, like cramming. Yeah, oh, I see little reaction buttons there, little confetti. Thank you there, Elijah. But tell you what, Yanus, I like it. Jillian is a good word, Yanus. Should have added that to the list. If this was like, I really knew the list, that's kind of a fun party trick, to like win a bet. But if I knew it, like inside and out, like I knew myself, we could do it like this. I want you to do this rudely and loudly on the microphone. I won't be able to read chat. Just jump on the microphone and call out any item or any number. Go ahead.
10.
Number 10, I heard first. Number 10, let me fast forward in my brain. We've got fork. Not Ford, but fork. Go ahead, what else?
18.
18, thank you there. 18 is sushi.
12.
14.
Number 12 and then number 14. Number 12 we got was toilet. Good thing we have that there. And 14 was baby. Let's go two more. You get the idea?
16.
Number 5 and 16 and then 3. Great. Number 5 was tree. Number 16 was guitar. And number 3 was book. There we go. All right. Not too shabby. Whew, there we go. Can come back and see the world now. By show of hands, how many of you would like to be able to do that? A lot of hands there. I see the physical hands and in chats, me please. Absolutely, Grace. Lots of hands there. Outstanding. Where's the earbud? Yeah, there we go. Maybe that could be a way to do it, right? I should do that, Elijah. Well, I can promise hand over my heart that nobody was feeding me information and I wasn't looking. I think it would actually be harder to cheat and make it look like I was doing it for real, like to be looking at a mirror or be listening or whatever. I can tell you that this was for real, and I can also tell you something more important, hand over my heart, which is I have a pretty bad memory. Genuinely, I do. My memory is like average at best. Average at best. Somewhere between junk and average is where my memory really lies. Cody says he's not cheating. He's seen it in real life. Thank you much there. That's right. I remember that. Back in the day, we were doing that in real life. I don't have a naturally good memory, but what I do have is a trained memory. It's possible for us to learn how to learn. We don't really spend a lot of time learning how to learn because we've got writing and we've got computers. We can outsource our memories into things, right? We can store our notes outside of our brains and then we convince ourselves we have a bad memory. This is probably the most useful skill you could learn in a single sitting. My goal is by the time that we are done here today, you will either be doing this, what you just saw me do, or you will know exactly how to do it so that you could be doing it before you go to bed tonight. One way or another, by the end of the day, you can be doing this. Absolutely, you can. To try to make this as accessible for you as possible, I want to try to break this down for you into just 2 bite-sized techniques. If you get comfortable with these 2 techniques, you can be impressing your friends, winning bets, or you can be acing those exams, speaking without notes just from memory. And those 2 techniques are the method of loci and the major system. These 2 techniques have the potential to be the Swiss Army knife of your brain. Now, before I go into each of these and describe exactly how they work, first, I think I should try to prove to you that they do work. Not with like a little demonstration where you see me do it, because you might think I've been doing this for years. That's not like me. I want to show you that you can do this. The method of loci is a fancy like Latin phrase, or loci is a Latin word. I'll tell you what it means in a second, but for right now, I want to give you the proof of concept. I'm going to give you a list of 10 things. 10 things, and I'm going to ask you to try to remember these 10 things. We'll just see how well you do. Now, our natural working memories will hold around 7 things, plus or minus 2. Hence phone numbers with about 7 digits. But we're going to try to push the envelope a little bit by aiming for 10. Don't write them down. That would defeat the purpose. Just kind of be present here with me mentally. You can set aside your phone. You can close down other browser tabs and just try it out. Ready? Nice. I see some game faces warming up. I like it. All right. Item number 1 is going to be your head. Top of your head. Okay. After the first item, your head, we go to your neck. After your neck, your armpit. Armpit is the 3rd item. After your armpit, your ribs. Ticklish ribs. After your ribs, your belly button. Belly button. We're about halfway through the list. After your belly button, your thigh. Your thigh. Now you can't really look at the camera now. Kind of have to look down at yourself. After your thigh, your knee. Your knee. After your knee, your calf. Calf there. After your calf, your heel. Heel. And after your heel, your toe. Toe. All right. That's 10 items. Without much time to study, or to practice, or to review, we can see how well we've got that list. You don't have to unmute yourselves for this. You can just try to murmur it out loud to yourself. If you have other people around you, you can kind of like mutter it under your breath so you don't seem too silly of a person. But do try to do this out loud. Item number 1, out loud on your end of the microphone there, while you're still muted, was what? The head. There we go. Very nice. After the head, we've got the item of the neck. Nice. We got neck. After the neck, armpit it is. After armpit, you got your ribs. Ticklish, ticklish ribs. Ooh, some of us jumping in chat. Nice. Already, we got them. Belly button there. Yes, that's the first half of the list. We got the thigh. No problem there. I like the gumption. We've got the knee afterwards. Perfect. We've got... Oh, I'm mistyped it there. It's supposed to be the calf, but yeah, shin. Same side of the leg, right? Just front or back. And then we've got the heel there. We've got the heel, and we've got the toes. How many of us, show of hands, you got all 10? Include your hands if you got 7 or more. 7 or more, because 7's like the working memory. 7 or more? There's a lot of hands I'm seeing there. Nice, a lot of these little digital yellow Simpson hands in Zoom calls. Perfect. Now, my guess is it wasn't terribly difficult, right? In fact, it might have been so easy it was like borderline patronizingly easy. It might be like, all right, Chris, that's all well and good, but that was just a list of body parts. I know body parts. I don't need to study to learn my body parts. That makes sense. But what we're doing here is we're taking advantage of the way your brain already works to give you an example of how every future list can feel. What if every list of 10 things, whether it was anatomy concepts, chemistry terms, historical events, points in a speech, came to you as easily as this list came to you? That be a good feeling? I think it would be too. We're taking advantage of the way your brain naturally works using the method of loci. The method of loci is about using locations. You have an amazing spatial memory. The reason that you got those 10 items so well is because they are landmarks. They're not random information. They have a kind of structure and meaning to them. Our brains are great at storing and articulating spatial information. You can kind of think about it like this. If you were to close your eyes, for those of us that are driving or in a car, don't do this, but if you were to, you could probably, in your mind's eye, recreate 5 big landmarks in the room that you're in right now. You have an idea of where the door is, where the trash can is, where the window is, where the closest wall is, stuff like that. Right? That's not terribly impressive. But when you stop and think about the feeling of going to the grocery store when you only have to get like 4 or 5 items, we still have to write it down. Or we still blank out and we miss the most important thing. Like, what? I didn't get milk? That's why I went in the first place. We still have to write it down after only 4 or 5 things. If you closed your eyes right now, you could probably describe like 5 landmarks from your 6th grade classroom. You have an idea of where your desk was, where your friend's desk was, where the teacher's desk was, where the door was, where the stinky kid was, right? You have an idea of all these different landmarks in your brain. Even if you have a bad memory, we have amazing spatial memories. Human beings are some of the best long-distance runners on the planet, and the way that we were able to have that advantage is because we could recognize the landmarks on the way home. Your brain is wonderful for landmarks. So let me tell you exactly how the method of loci works. The way the method of loci works is you have designated a series of places, of these landmarks that we call loci. A single location is a single locus. Your head is a locus. Your neck is a locus. Your armpit is a locus. All of them together from head down to the toes are your 10 loci. Whenever you have a series of predetermined loci that you know you're going to use for memory work, we call that a memory palace. Now, I'm throwing a lot of jargon at you here. Don't worry about memorizing these fancy Latin words and mnemonic technique words. It's more important to know what you're actually doing. Go back to this list of 20 that you gave me. If I'm looking at this list, I'm not thinking to myself, item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's abstract. That's digital information. Numbers are abstract. Landmarks are concrete. I'm seeing in my mind, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm taking a walk around my childhood home. The first landmark that I see is a bathroom mirror. I'm just looking at the bathroom mirror and I'm thinking, okay, what item are we going to put here? Once I hear it's going to be a Stanley Cup, I imagine this giant shining trophy of the Stanley Cup, and I'm smashing the glass of the bathroom mirror. Glass goes shattering everywhere, the Stanley Cup is ruined and really awkward now, and I move on to the next landmark in my mind. The next locus is a medicine cabinet. And so once I hear TV, I imagine a giant TV smashing the medicine cabinet. Sparks go flying, Tylenol goes flying, making a big mess of all these different landmarks. Even if you have a bad memory, things that you remember most are the things that are ridiculous, vivid, funny, offensive, gory, scary, silly, awkward. You don't have to wait for these kinds of things to occur. You can imagine imagery that vivid on command. And if you take the item and make a vivid association with a landmark that you already know, all you have to do is mentally look at those landmarks and the items come back, even if you have a bad memory, like me. That's how the method of loci works. You have a series of predetermined locations. You attach your memories to those locations. I've given you a list of 10 things, not to test you on a list of 10, actually to build together our first memory palace. From the head down to the toes are 10 fresh locations that you have forwards and backwards that we can now attach items to really test your memory. So I'm going to give you a list of 10 things now, truly random 10 things that we are going to attach to the memory palace across your body. And I'm going to have you make a vivid, crazy association of each of these words to each of these body parts, to the head, to the neck, to the armpit, to the ribs, and so on and so forth. Don't worry about remembering the items. Just try to come up with creative, vivid imagery. If you have a physical reaction to what you imagine, if you find yourself giggling on your side of the camera or kind of going, ugh, being grossed out, great. You've got a good image. It's going to stick, even if you have a bad memory. So let's try it out. For realsies this time. A random list of things. If you got a phone around you, you can put that aside. If you got browser tabs open, you can close those down. Genuinely try to be present for this, because you'll probably impress yourself. Ready for the list? Here we go. Item number 1. Imagine this being attached to your head. Lice. Exaggerate the image. Giant lice. They're the size of softballs. You can feel them skittering around in your hair, squeaking and sliding, nibbling. Ugh. Heebie-jeebs. Feel the heebie of the jeebies. And once you feel them and it's vivid, it's ridiculous as an image, let it go. It'll come back when you need it. Take a look at your second locus. Attached to your neck here, let's make the word net. A big fishing net gets shot at your neck. It's like snares around. Like, what's going on? Like somebody really messed up with the net. Maybe it pulls away and does like a bunch of fish. Oh, it was a good idea to shoot the net at your neck. Great. Okay, it works out. You can always throw a net at your own neck whenever you're hungry. Net is number 2. Number 3 is the word gas. Imagine all this gas coming out of your armpit. See a color to it. Is it green? Is it purple? What does it feel like to have the gas eke out of your armpit? Does it feel embarrassing? Does it feel ticklish? Are you proud of it in a weird way? Once it's vivid and ridiculous, move on. Take a look at your ribs. Attached to your ribs, let's put here moss. All kinds of gross, fuzzy, green, squishy, moist moss around your ribs. Whenever you try to scratch yourself, it just flakes off all this green moss. Now, take a look at your belly button. Attached to your belly button, let's put the word here, pen. Maybe you can pull a giant pen out of your belly button. Whenever like someone needs a pen in class, oh, they didn't bring a pen. Here you go, buddy. I got you covered. Oh, sorry, it's leaking ink a little bit. Kind of tickles on the way out, that pen from the belly button. So far, for the first half of the list, I've been giving you these associations, right? I'm kind of like painting the picture for you. I'm going to be less helpful now. I'm just going to give you the words. It's up to you to make it vivid and ridiculous. Exaggerate these images. Make sure they don't make sense. Here we go. All on you now. Your thigh, the word is fan. Imagine the word fan linked to your thigh. Stick them together so that you couldn't help but think of a fan once you hear thigh. Next landmark going to be your knee. Attached to your knee, make the word mad. Whatever mad looks like. I don't know. Maybe it's like the Hulk. It's a big angry face. Or it's your ex. I don't know. Whatever mad looks like. Once you got mad attached to your knee, we go to the next landmark. We go to your legs there, the calf or the shin, and you go for a mop. A mop. It's a nice squishy one. It's a good one that you can smell too. You can smell the mop. Once it's nice and associated, we go to your heel. Word here will be rag. Rag attached to your heel. Whatever that looks like and feels like. All right, grand finale. Don't let it get weak. Attached to your toes, let the word dog. Toes. Maybe it's cute, maybe it's scary. Make it vivid. This now is your random list of 10 items. There it goes. I'm going to have you now type in chat without hitting enter as many of those 10 items as you can see from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. You can type them in chat, but don't hit enter just yet. In a moment, I'm going to have everybody hit enter at the exact same time just to see how we were. So you can kind of type out that list, maybe separated with some commas or something like that. Ooh, there we go. Watch. Inevitably, we're going to have a bit of a leak. No problem there. I like the gumption. Once you've got your list typed out, you can give me a little thumbs up there on camera or like a little zoom thumbs up so that we know you're ready to go. Watch out for the spiders there. Ooh, cool. Soule is flying through this. A couple more thumbs there when we're ready to go. Take your time, and if any of these give you a hard time, big deal. Skip them. Skip on to the next body part. You can always jump ahead. Then you can use that luxurious review time of, what is it, 2 minutes if you need to. Looking for little digital thumbs ups on camera once you're ready to go. Cool, thank you there, Elijah. Ooh, we got a spoiler there in chat, no problem. I can watch it. I'm seeing a couple more thumbs ups ready to go. Thank you there, Aubrey. Thanks, Elijah. Is ready. We're getting some of the list leaking out. Thank you, Danielle. Ready there? Okay, perfect, perfect. Mitchell's ready. Grace is ready. Each of us are feeling ready. I like it. Cameron, you're there. Thank you, Cameron. About half the room, I think it is. Angelina, nice. Jillian's there with the readiness. All right, tell you what, I'm going to count backwards from 3 down to 1. The moment I hit 1, we can go ahead, we can hit enter, even if the list isn't complete yet. Big deal, no problem. Thank you there, Caitlin. I'll count backwards from 3 to 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Go for it. What do we got? What items come back to us? Ooh, I like. Somebody threw in all caps there, yelling at us. We got it. Nice, nice. I'm seeing lots of lists of about 10 things. I'm not counting all of these individually. Some of us, we got about 7 or so. Some of us got about 5 or so. Big deal. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm seeing a lot of 10s. I think I am. Here we go. There's the list again for you. My guess is you probably got a lot of these items without having to really struggle to study them, because you can just see them on your body. And I also guess that if you missed any of these, it only comes down to one issue. Easy to solve. It doesn't mean that you're bad at this. Doesn't mean that this won't work for you. It just means it's a weak association. That's the number one problem if you missed any of these. Maybe you missed fan, on the thigh. Big deal. Because maybe you just pictured like a fan next to the thigh real quick and then kind of rushed through it. You didn't make it like exaggerated enough. It wasn't like a giant fan that was like blowing people away whenever you took a step, whenever your leg moved or whatever. Or, oh, Grace said, missed the pen? Great. Maybe it was just too simple. Maybe it was just like a pen in the belly button. It wasn't like a giant pen the size of a coconut tree that you can like feel tickling as it comes out of the belly button, or like spilling ink everywhere. It just comes down to making a more vivid, ridiculous image. That's it. You know what this actually is? You ever been in the middle of a class and you start to daydream? Mind starts to wander. I don't know, you're in a class about civics, or you hear about the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and you're like, huh, bear arms. And you see, bear arms. Like, you just kind of daydream. This is daydreaming, but on purpose. The way that memory techniques work is by working with the way your mind already wants to work. Our brains like playing around with things. Some of us instead will make a bunch of flashcards for all the amendments. We stare at them until we bleed from the nose, and we hate history, but we know some trivia. Instead, you can use the imagery you're already familiar with. Use your locations. We got body parts here, but you're not limited to body parts. You could use the locations, like I did, around your home, around your childhood home, around your friend's house, around grandma, grandpa's house, uncle, auntie's house, around Leeward Community College, around Hilo Town, around Pearl Ridge Mall. You have thousands of loci waiting to be weaponized. Learn anything that you want. Our brains are not digital. They're analog. Doesn't mean they're bad, but we often try to force feed digital information. Item 1, item 2, item 3. Our brains don't think that way. Our brains like the analog. We like representations. We see landmarks. We see imagery. We experience feelings and sensations. We can lean into it. So I gave you here a list of 20 locations. So you have your first memory palace. But now what? We just used it on our list of gibberish, right? So probably more important is the fact that you can make your own memory palaces. My favorite way to do this is to imagine a walk around a place that you know really well, around your home, around your place of work, whatever, and pick, say, 5 distinctive landmarks every 20 feet or so. 5 distinctive landmarks. Pieces of furniture. If you're moving like from room to room, pick 5 landmarks in every room. Like you can pick a plant into one side of the wall, a desk against the other wall, a door, some artwork, a bookshelf, and you just go one room to the right, and then you have an idea of what your locations are going to be. This is exactly how I have my students practice for their presentations. If you had to give a speech where you know that the first thing you're going to be talking about is like hair care and hygiene to make sure that they're not going to get lice. All right, topic number 1 is lice. Topic number 2 is like taking care of your nets or whatever, right? You turn the ideas into images that you then attach to locations. Now, this is all well and good for ideas that you can see. If you're giving a speech, great. You turn your main points into ideas that you can list. But what if you're not taking all these classes in the humanities? What if you got classes in like the maths and sciences? Then what about things like, I don't know, numbers? Those are digital, no matter what. Even if our analog brains love imagery and stuff, what about numbers? We've got a system for you. Let me introduce you to the major system. The major system is a method of systematically turning numbers into images that you can visualize. It does the work for you. If you knew that you had to memorize the specific statistic, 52%, in your speech, 52, not 53, not 51, how do you make sure you know it's 52? 52 doesn't look like anything in the same way that a cat looks like something, the beach looks like something, or a guitar looks like something. It's abstract. Here's what we do. With the major system, we take every numerical digit and we turn it into a consonant sound. We turn it into a noise. In a moment, you're going to be able to read numbers as if they were words. We're going to use either the way that the digit looks or the way that it sounds to turn it into a noise. For example, the number 1, when you write it out, kind of looks like an L. So if you wanted to, you could pronounce the number 1 as if it made an ul sound. That's if you go by appearance. You could also go by sound. The number 2 has a very strong t sound at the start of it. So you could read the digit 2 as if it made a T sound. The number 3, if you turn it on its side, has a very M-like quality to it. Sort of looks like an M, doesn't it? 4 kind of looks and sounds at the end like a strong R sound. 5 just flat out looks like a letter. It's like an S. 6 kind of looks like a letter also, if you, depending on your handwriting, kind of looks a little bit like a capital G there. So you could read a 6 if it sounds like G. 7, tip it on its side, and it has that strong sound in the middle, has a very V-like quality to it. 7. 8, depending on your handwriting, if it's especially bubbly, kind of looks like a B. 8 looks like a B. You could read it that way. 9 has a very strong N sound to it. It's the only digit that has that N quality to it. And then poor 0 there. We're going to give it the leftovers. We're going to use 0 for the sound ch. Now, if that sounds a little bit random, it does help that 0 kind of looks like a Cheerio. We're not entirely done yet. We can double dip for some of these sounds. For example, for 2 there, the T sound is actually the exact same sound in the body as a D sound. T and D. It's just that one of them uses the vocal cords, one of them skips the vocal cords. Call it voiced or unvoiced. A T sound is produced at the teeth, but a D sound is the same thing with the vocal cords. You could also do the same thing for S, for 5 there. A S sound and a Z sound are the exact same sound, just with or without the vocal cords. 6 with the G, you bring it up away from the vocal cords, becomes K. So 6 you can double dip as a G or a K. 7 could also be a F sound. V and F are the same sounds, just with or without vocal cords. B and P, same sounds, just with or without vocal cords. B and P. And then for 0 there, you involve the vocal cords. From ch, it becomes j. So we have these digits that we can read as if they make sounds. Big deal. Why is that helpful? This is helpful because when we sprinkle in vowels in between them, it means that we can read long strings of numbers as if they were analog words. What digits do you see hidden in the word sit? You can type in chat there. Sit. All I've done is I've dropped in the letter I there. Ultimately, this is hiding in plain sight. Ooh, there we go. We got him. Yes, a 5 and a 2 there. So we're paying attention only to the consonant sounds, right? We got the 5 there for the S sound, and we've got the T, the T sound gives us 2. So if I had to remember in my speech 52% for some reason, I can't see 52, but I can see someone sitting. Right? Or I can see maybe if I drop in a different vowel, it doesn't have to be an I. Maybe it's set, like sunset, or sat, past tense of sitting, right? I can see a chair, I can see a sunset, and I can put that image in my locus, right? For the part of the speech where it's going to be. Even if I can't place 52. It's one example. It's a little bit straightforward. Let's try a few others, just to get the reps in. What digits do you see in not gassy? Now, the way the major system works is it's about sounds, not about letters. So something in this is designed to be slightly tricky. You can type away in chat there. What digits do you see? And if you have no idea, great. Guess. Who cares? Be wrong. Throw caution to the wind. Fortune favors the bold. Ooh, cool. I'm seeing some digits showing up there in chat. There's a 9, a 2, and a 6. Oh, yes, for the N, the T, and the G. And a 5. 9, 2, and then 6 and 5. Nice. This could be a little bit tricky, right? Because is it 2 5s? There's 2 S's. 9, 2, 6, and 5. The single 5. How come? There's 2 S's. Because there's only one S sound. It's about the sounds of these words, not about the individual letters. If we wanted to have an image for 9, 2, 6, 5, 5, then we would drop in one more vowel. It wouldn't be not gassy. It might be something like not gases. Then you'd have the extra 5 in there. We can't see 9, 2, 6, 5, 5, but we can see someone who is not gassy anymore. Whatever that looks like. Might be a rude image. Let's try another one that could be slightly tricky for us. Love life. Digits do you see hidden away in love life? Remember, it's not about the letters. It's about the sounds. Major system is a phonetic code. Throw caution to the wind. Take a guess. Cool, cool. Seeing ones for sure. Okay, for the L, right? The L. 1717, I'm seeing. Let's take a look at this. We've got a 1 for the L, a 7 for the V, a 1 for the second L, and a 7 again for the F, right? Because 7 can double dip. It can be a F and a V sound. Same sound in the mouth, just with or without the vocal cords. Let's try one more for good measure. I've been making all these consonant sounds capitalized. You kind of know which ones to focus on. So this time, there's the trickiness of using only sounds, not letters. And this time, I won't capitalize things for you. What numbers do you see in Pikachu Face? Pikachu Face. Remember, it's not about the letters. It's about the sounds. Ooh, we can just take them one digit at a time. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, cool. I'm seeing some... Ooh, the last digit is designed to be a little bit tricky, but I'm not fooling you here in chat. Nicely done. You know it's not about the letters, it's about the sounds. Let's take a look at this together. We've got the P sound, which is an 8. We've got the K sound, which is a 6. You got it? We got the Ch there. We got the, for 0. And you got 7 and 5. The CE over there is the S sound. It's hard to see in our brains 86,075. That's hard to remember. But you can see a Pikachu face. And you can put Pikachu face in whatever location you need to remember it. If it's at the armpit part of your speech or the ribs part of your speech, to remember 86,075. Now, I'll admit that with the major system, you have to learn a few new things. You actually have to learn this list over here of the codes for letters to sounds. It might take you about a day or so, but you have to learn it from scratch. With the method of loci, you're not learning anything new. You're actually just rearranging stuff you already know, right? You're just using locations that you already know intentionally. Major system, you do have to stop and learn, but at least it's fairly easy to learn because each letter here looks or sounds like the digit. But what if we stopped here? What if you only just walked away with the major system? That gives you an amazingly versatile and powerful tool for your memory. You could have random strings of long digits. For example, you could see numbers everywhere. In this sentence, Jesse's girl is Stacy's mom. That becomes the number 0556415525533 because of the major system. Hidden away in that sentence. Name is Jenny becomes 493509. Her number is becomes 423845. It's a 25-digit number just from learning the sentence Jesse's girl is Stacy's mom. Her name is Jenny. Her number is. Anybody know her phone number? Jenny's number? If you know the song, perhaps. 8675309. So this would give you 32 random digits that you know cold, thanks to the major system. If nothing else, if you just walked away from today with only the major system, you will make amazing passwords. Amazing passwords. So one of the things about being interested in memory techniques is I have really good passwords, but I can't tell anyone. So craziness there in chat? Craziness indeed. Now this is good stuff to learn about and to hear. It's another thing to put into practice. That's what really makes this stuff stick for us. So let's have you do this now on your own. If only you had a list of random words that you could translate into numbers using the major system. Hold up. We kind of do, don't we? You've got a list of 10 things from your head down to your toes. I'm going to ask you now, in whatever vehicle is most convenient for you. Maybe it's like a separate Word document. Maybe it's a piece of paper and a pencil somewhere next to you. Maybe not in chat. Too many leaks that we're going to have in chat, I think. I'm going to have you translate each of these numbers into digits. And remember, some of them are tricky. It's about sounds, not about letters. So using the major system, from the top of your head down to your toes, translate lice, net, gas, moss, pen, fan, mad, mop, rag, and dog into numbers using the major system. Once you're done, you can give me a little thumbs up in chat or on camera to let me know that you're ready to go. If any of these give you a hard time, big deal, problem, skip it. Move on to the easy ones. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Go for it. Thank you there, Soleil, for a thumbs up. Alexis is ready. Thank you there, Alexis. Thank you, Aubrey. Layla's good to go. Thank you there, Layla. Angelina's there with us. Mahalo. Caitlin's there with us. Nice, Caitlin. Let's go about 30 more seconds. Ooh, nice. There we go. Finishing some. Willie's there with us. Willie's there with us. Princess finishing up. Nice. All right. Thank you there, everybody. You've got a list of 10 words. Those words can turn into digits. Wherever those digits were, if you're like typing in some other document or whatever, you can like copy them now, you can paste them in the chat, or you can like start putting them in the chat. That way we didn't have any of the leaks there. But I'm curious, what digits do we see from the top of the head down to the toes using the major system, focusing on sounds, not letters? You don't have to wait for me to hit like count down from 3 to 1. We can just throw them all in there. Ooh, nice. We're getting them. We're getting, ooh, Layla even, or who was it that put in like the equal signs? Jillian did, like with the equals. So precise. Nice. What formatting? 1, 5, 9, 2. Boom, 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 boom. Nice. We're getting them. We're getting them. I thought I was going to trick you folks with the first one. Lice did not fool you. 1 and 5. Yes, because the CE there is a S sound. Another one that's designed to kind of be tricky is moss. I wasn't tricking anybody with it though. It's 3, 5. Nice. I thought some people might go 3, 5, 5. But nope, moss was just 3 and 5. Nicely done. We are getting them. What if, for some class, you had to learn, I don't know, dates or an equation or statistics? Basically the equivalent of long strings of numbers. How long would it take you to do it? You here now have got a list of, what is that, like 20 digits? Right? Because it's 10 landmarks. Each one's got 2 numbers. That's 20 digits that you know after one sitting. That's nuts. Now, in the interest of time, we only used 10 landmarks, but you can see how this would work with 20 landmarks. If you can do 10, you can do 20. You just have 20 more locations. If you can do 20, you can do 50. You could do 100 locations. It's all the exact same. Even if you have a bad memory, we can all learn how to learn. We can have a trained memory. Show of hands, how many of you feel like you've gotten something useful as a takeaway here today? Whether you're in the humanities, whether you're in the maths and sciences, where you got something. Yeah, we do? Awesome. Thank you much. I try to tailor this to cover as much as possible for as many people as possible here. Whether you have a good memory, a bad memory, whether you're in the arts, whether you're in the sciences. Awesome. Well, tell you what, I don't think that this is all entirely done. If I could borrow maybe like 2 minutes of your time, we do have a little survey here for you, just to make sure that we are doing right by you. If you would please, just go ahead and you can give us a little bit of your feedback here. I have a link for you here in chat just in case, to share your thoughts with us, because whatever it is that's working really well, we want to know so that we can do more of that. Whatever things aren't working especially well, we want to know so we can do less of that. But one way or another, we want to make sure that these workshops are all about your needs and your benefits to make sure that you are walking away with tangible skills here. This is a really quick survey. It takes about 2 minutes. It's super quick. Some people, especially if you're like a free diver, will be done with it in the amount of time it takes to hold your breath. Super duper quick. As you do that, just kind of in the background here. Oh, I see some like survey taking faces. It looks like we're in the midst of it right now. I thought I could share with you just a little bit of background. By the way, as a thank you for doing this, if any of you thought that maybe having these slides would be really helpful for you, because like you can see the major system there, as a thank you for completing this quick little survey, the moment you submit the survey, you will automatically receive a download of these slides. I think it's actually going to be a copy of the Google slides, so they'll show up right there in your Google account. You won't have to do a single thing. You just pressed on make a copy and it's all yours to use, to edit, to ignore as you see fit. And also, even if you're on Hilo, if you're in Kahuku, wherever it is that you are, consider me a resource. If you've got a speech coming up and you want to learn how to apply these techniques to memorize your speech, reach out to me. Let me know. If you've got a big exam coming up and you're like, hey, I want some study tips, like what was that thing about how to build your own memory palaces again? Let me know. absolutely happy to help anytime. Consider me a resource. Even if you were never in my class, doesn't matter. There's my email for you there in chat. Feel free to reach out. My door's open to you. As far as I'm concerned, you are my people. You are here. You didn't have to be here. You showed up. You put yourselves out there. You tried out these exercises. I appreciate it. We got the QR code, right? We got the little clickable link there. Yayness indeed. Thank you for this. Thank you for coming out. And I thought we still got a few minutes here at the end. So just in case you are interested in this and you're looking for even more, even though you've completed the survey and you have your download, you have all of this information for yourself in your own Google account, but you still possibly want more, here are a couple of resources that I can recommend. The number one book that I can recommend on memory techniques is called The Memory Book. Very creative name. It's by Harry Lorraine and Jerry Lucas. This is the go-to book for how-to methods. If you're looking to have like your calendar memorized in your head, if you want to be able to have like 1,000 loci for memorizing things, this is the book to do it. Want to memorize names and faces just to be better in conversations or on dates? Great. The memory book is the way to do it. The second book that I can recommend is less of a how-to book and more of like a proof of concept book. It's called Moonwalking with Einstein by Joshua Foer. Joshua Foer is a journalist who was covering the US Memory Championship. And he thought, okay, you know what? It would be really cool to actually cover like how to do this by entering the tournament, because covering it by watching is really boring. It looks like a bunch of people just taking the SAT, people staring at stuff. But there are competitions. People memorize like 10 shuffle decks of playing cards, 1,000 random binary digits, and like it's a competitive sport. Crazy, memorizing things. And so he learned for a year how to do this stuff, just so he could write a better article. And then he entered the tournament himself, just to see what it was like as a competitor, and then he won the whole thing. After 1 year of practice, Joshua Foer became the US Memory Champion. And this book is exactly how he did it. This is his story. So if he can do it, you can do it. If I can do this 20 things, like at the start of the day, with my bad memory, you can do it too. And Moonwalking with Einstein is kind of the book that's like proof of concept that you can do it. So you can kind of tell that a lot of my background was kind of steered towards speeches and kind of the language arts and things like that, but I do try to cater to our friends in the sciences and in mathematics. So just in case here, we have a pretty good sized turnout here. So statistically, we might have one or two like math buffs. Anybody here, you know pi? Sometimes you get like some math buffs. Oh yeah, some hands going up there. Like there's like a song for it, or like some people kind of cram for a bit. Pi, right? You know 3.14, don't you? Yeah, 3.14. However, I'll bet you also still remember what items go from your head to your toes. That's right. At the top of the head, we've got lice, net, gas, moss on the ribs, hen in the belly button. You've got there the fan, mad. You've got mop and rag and dog. From the top of the head to the tips of the toes, you are walking away with 23 places of pie in one sitting. That's not too shabby. Even more difficult, I think, than the original list that you gave me at the start of the class. I give you a hand for that. Not too shabby. Nicely done. You are just getting started. But thank you all so much for spending your afternoon here with me. Thank you all so much for giving us your feedback, and consider me a resource. Reach out anytime if I can be of any help, answer any questions for you. Thank you very much, Scott, for hosting us here. And thank you, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day.